Do you want to find out what's been stopping you from succeeding? Let's find out. Join me as I share another life-changing lesson from our powerful manifestation and success, elite coaching and training of thinking into results from Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher, who are the co-creators and founders of the Proctor Gallagher Institute. Hi, I'm Madeline Kennedy, consultant, facilitator, and elite coach with PGI, and I'm thrilled to share a bit about this with you because I know once you get this clear in your mind, you will see why things always seem to constantly stop just short of accomplishing your goals that you so desperately and passionately want. This lesson is lesson 7 of 12 amazing lessons in thinking into results. And number 7 is all about that fear that stops you. We call it hitting the terror barrier. And when you do, it makes you want to run back to what you feel is safety and not to do anything at all. When in fact, it's not safety, it's bondage. And you just don't really realize it. I have been trained by my mentor, Bob Proctor, to help you get through that terror barrier and so much more. So just reach out to me at any time for clarification on how you can make a wonderful change in your life where you can actually fulfill your best and wildest dreams. I can help you get there. Now let's get into it, shall we? If you haven't had a chance to watch the previous video where I explained about our lesson 4 of the power of the secret genie and our wonderful stick man, you will want to be sure to check that video out too. And you can find that on my YouTube channel. We love celebrating our clients and their wins. And with each lesson, we take the time to share and get excited about what you are creating in your life as a result of your studies. It's always so important to recognize every win, even if you think it's too little. Nothing is too little when you are doing mindset work. You start to learn to recognize the synchronicities that you may have missed before studying with us. So I want to mention this little thought right here. Indecision is the cause of fear. Did you realize that? Indecision is the cause of fear. So what we normally do in our lessons, we introduce you with an agenda. So for this little summary, I'm going to introduce lesson 7, Trample the Terror Barrier. And then we normally review the worksheets. And you watch the video, cover the key points. We'll do an introduction of lesson 7 worksheet, and then we'll just wrap it up. So here's a wonderful quote by Eleanor Roosevelt. You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I have lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along. You must do the thing you think you cannot do. And that is, again, Eleanor Roosevelt. It's amazing, isn't it? And in the terror barrier, it's about taking risk. So taking risk is essential when you really want to reach a goal. And the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. So what causes us to shy away from our goals or from taking risk? Fear, doubt, and worry. So in studying this lesson, you'll discover that the terror barrier is a psychological barrier connected to our self-image. Studying and learning this lesson prepares you to take that quantum leap in your results. Fear is just a process you go through in goal achieving, and you learn to recognize that what is happening and then how to focus on achieving your goals to move right through that barrier to success. We encounter that terror barrier whenever we can't see ourselves doing something, something that we have not done before, you start to come up with all kinds of thoughts as to why you can't do it. The greatest deterrent that is stopping a person from going through the terror barrier is ignorance. So first, let's take a look back at our last lesson. When you decide to go through the complete training with us, you have access to all the lessons, videos, and worksheets. But for today, I'm going to share with you how we like to facilitate the lessons. So in lesson 6, our last lesson, we learned about the importance of self-image, your environment. Environment is but our looking glass, which is the name of lesson 6. And to finally be the star in your own movie. Have you ever thought about that? So let's recap some of the key points from lesson 6. You have programmed into the deep recesses of your mind a perception of what you are, who you are, and what you are worth. This is referred to as an inner self-image. It is literally a control mechanism that determines what comes into your life and how well you do. You also have an outer image. It's the one that you project to the world by the outer expression of the inner image. Your results are always a reflection of what is going on internally. If you have a negative or bad image of yourself, your results are going to be a reflection of that image. The self-image that is fixed in your subconscious mind will determine how the rest of the world will see you. You are the only person in the entire world that has the ability to alter or improve your self-image. There is an image of perfection that is resident in the center of your consciousness. The more you move in the direction of that image, the more your life will improve. There is no end to the good that you can experience as you develop a greater awareness of the perfection that does lie within you. Now we'll just briefly go over a review of the worksheets that you had from lesson 6, Environment is but our looking glass. So what you went through in the worksheets are certain questions that you answered. What insights did you gain about yourself as a result of the worksheets? Did you complete question 6, looking at another person for clues about what you want to integrate into your self-image? And then what did you come up with? And did you complete the exercise, Your Life as a Movie? Did you rewrite your script? What was fun about that? So as you can see, each one of these lessons are very powerful in their own right, and they build upon each other. So let's go here and let's take a look at this graphic of what the terror bearer looks like. This is our stick person that was introduced and we talked about in lesson 4. And again, the stick person has come back and it helps us explain what happens to us when we are faced with the terror barrier. So it's a 4-step process. The first step here, the small image, if you can see right here, is bondage. The next step is reason. The next step is conflict with the terror barrier. And then finally, when you go through this terror barrier, you get to freedom. And so from understanding this, you can crash right through that terror barrier. So we have a video. Bob and Sandy always explain so well each lesson, and they explain this one in so much more detail. And you have access to your video for this from Bob and Sandy in your client portal when you are a client of Thinking into Results with us. Now let's look at the graphic again. Here we see the stick person, and the stick person at 4 different phases. Picture this as you in bondage. You have that X-type ideas in your conscious mind. You've got X-type ideas in the subconscious mind. The body is taking X-type action and therefore getting X-type results. A person starts in bondage. Everything they are experiencing is considered X-type energy. They have X-type thoughts, creating X-type behavior, producing X-type results. They are living in bondage and nothing changes because they don't understand the concept of freedom. So this is one of the most critical points here about being in bondage. It's even though we can think about what we want, when we're locked in this state of bondage, we only think thoughts that are in harmony with our X-type conditioning. All the ideas, we'll just reject them. That's true bondage. You're not growing. Then we go to step 2. Step 2 is reason. Here, you have the same X everything. However, you start to have a different outside Y-type idea in the conscious mind only. Your uniqueness within seeks expression and aspires to do something more. This is where you start to think beyond where you've been before, wanting something better. Think anything you want, but nothing is internalized and nothing happens. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. This is where we start to hit the terror barrier. Then there is conflict. The vibration in a conscious level, referred to as feeling, an invented word that describes the conscious feeling of the vibration we are in. So they have an Y-type idea in their conscious and subconscious mind, joining the X-type feeling in the subconscious. And these two combined, the X and Y, creates a chaotic vibration that creates worry and doubt on the conscious mind, fear on the subconscious mind, and anxiety in the physical body level. They just don't mix. And we're starting to think about taking this Y-type action, which is going to lead us to this Y-type results, and it doesn't feel good. You start to even feel nauseated. You hit the terror barrier and it bounces you right back to bondage, right where you started. This always happens because you are just scared of something bad will happen or it won't work out. Regardless, you just have to give it your best shot to live the life you've imagined and not let anything else stop or change your belief. This is where we see it and start to understand and say, okay, I'm hitting the terror barrier. I'm going to plow through it. And it's on the other side that you hit freedom. Get really emotionally involved in what you want, and you will break through that terror barrier. Now, does this terror barrier go away when you get through that wall? No. You've got to keep impressing it, keep impressing it, keep impressing it until finally the Y-type idea becomes your paradigm. It becomes your conditioning. And then guess what? You get to go for something even bigger. And that's the process of growth. And that's what we're talking about in this lesson here. And then you'll go through the terror barrier all over again with each new idea that you come up with. So let's just go through a few of the key points that you would have learned in this lesson. Anytime you are setting a goal that results in you skipping a couple of rungs on the ladder of success, you will run up against the terror barrier. Whenever you go to make a serious change in lifestyle, moving out of your comfort zone, you run up against the terror barrier. With any change that would come under the category of a major change in your behavior, the terror barrier will instantly and automatically be standing between you and the good that you desire. When this happens, you have a choice. You can step back into safety and continue to experience the same results, year after year, or you can be courageous and experience the growth that you have been seeking. The 4 steps in the psychological process of experiencing growth, dealing with the terror barrier, are bondage, reason, conflict, and breakthrough. So let's look at this great graphic again. Here are the 4 steps: bondage, reason, conflict, or terror barrier, and breakthrough, which is freedom. So here's a quote by Abraham Maslow. You either step forward into growth or back into safety. Now that summarizes everything that we've just talked about in the terror barrier perfectly. So thank you. And when you decide to come work with me as your elite mentor and coach, when you get this far into the lessons of thinking into results, you will be amazed at the results and positive change you see in your life. The next lesson, lesson 8, is all about praxis. Do you know what that is? Do you want to know how important praxis is to you and your continued growth? I hope you enjoy this training in the terror barrier and reach out to me. We can visit all about the advantages you will have by going through thinking into results with me. Have a great day. Much love.